Namaskaram, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In the teaching and learning process of art, the practical training is very crucial. Likewise, understanding the various aspects of the subject, the content, and the essence is equally vital and significant. Samprekshana, the Art of Seeing Art, 2022, Harmony Through Art, a national seminar on performing and visual arts being conducted here by Kalakshetra Foundation, aims to give us an in-depth understanding of the above said through interaction with subject experts. It gives me immense pleasure in welcoming one and all of you present here to the inauguration of this thought-provoking and scholastic event. Samprekshana, curated by Srimati Revathi Ramachandran, Director, Kalakshetra Foundation. We shall commence on an auspicious note with the invocatory prayers.
Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam Vasuprade Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam Vasuprade Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam Vasuprade Shri Sarasapade Rasapade Sapade Pade Pade Shri Sarasapade Rasapade Sapade Pade Pade Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam Suvarnabe Bhavaja Janaka Prana Vallabhe Suvarnabe Bhanukoti Samana Prabhe Bhakta Sulabhe Sevaka Janapalinge Shruta Pankajamalinge Kevala Gunashalinge Keshavarkelinge Sevaka Janapalinge Shruta Pankajamalinge Kevala Gunashalinge Keshavarkelinge Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam Vasuprade Shri Sarasapade Rasapade Sapade Pade Pade Shri Varalakshmi Namastubhyam Shravana Paunami Purvasa Shukravade Charumati Prabhrivi Pujita Kare Devari Guru Guhasa Pita Mani Maya Hare Devari Guru Guhasa Pita Mani Maya Hare Dina Jana Samrakshana Nipuna Kanakadare Bhavana Veda Chature भावना वेद चतुरे भारती सन्नुतवरे कैवल्य वितरण परे कांक्षित फल प्रद करे भावना वेद चतुरे भारती सन्नुतवरे कैवल्य वितरण परे कांक्षित फल प्रद करे श्री वरलक्ष्मी नमस्तुभ्यं वसुप्रदे श्री सरसपदे रसपदे सपदे पदे पदे श्री सरसपदे रसपदे सपदे पदे पदे श्री वरलक्ष्मी नमस्तुभ्यम्
May I request our chairman, Shri S. Ramadorai, Director Srimati Revathi Ramachandran, Dr. Bharat Gupt, Trustee and Executive Member, Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts, Deputy Director, Srimati Padmavati, Mrs. Bala Ma'am, and P.T. Narendran, board member, to please come and light the lamp and inaugurate the festival. Thank you, dignitaries. You can please take your place in the dais. Director Srimati Revathi Ramachandran will now address the gathering. Briefly about her. Dancer, choreographer and teacher of Bharatanatyam, Srimati Revathi Ramachandran's dance goes beyond the frame of the stage in order to communicate the rasa and the feeling that is embedded in the nuance of the art form. She assumed charge as the director of Kalakshetra Foundation in April 2018. Srimati Revathi's repertoire has taken her to stages that pan India, Europe, and America, and prestigious festivals like the Kutub Festival, the Kumbh Mela, the Mamallapuram Festival, to name a few. Known for her prowess in complex rhythmic patterns, Srimati Revathi is the only exponent of Shuddha Nrittam, an ancient temple dance revived by her guru Mangudi Dorairajayar. Srimati Revathi has over the years travelled far and wide in the realm of Bharatanatyam, exploring its vastness and its exclusive niches, guided by gurus, including Dr. Padma Subramaniam for theory, Guru Bhagavatalu Sitharama Sharma for Nattuangam, Vidushi Srimati Kalpagam Swaminathan for Veena, Guru Vempatti Chinna Satyam for Kuchupudi, and Guru Lakshmi Vishwanathan for Abhinaya. She was a recipient of a fellowship by the Ministry of Human Resource and Development to conduct a research on Bhagavata Mela. She coordinated the production of a CD-ROM, Bharatanatyam, apart from choreographing and directing the tele-serials Deva Thirumagal. She has received many notable awards, amongst which Arsha Kala Bhushanam from Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati and the Kalaimamani from the Government of Tamil Nadu stand apart. very glad to have such an accomplished artist of her caliber in the captain seat of Kalakshetra Foundation. I request you, Akka, to deliver the welcome address.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Kala Samprekshana, the art of seeing art, is in its 5th edition. The seminar's objective is to educate the students on the different aspects of art and pave the path for research and in-depth study of the cultural heritage and the traditional systems that are unique to India. I take immense pleasure in welcoming our esteemed chairman, Shri S. Ramadorai, former CEO and MD, Tata Consultancy Services. He has been guiding the institution with so much of support and knowledge that we are able to function so well. I welcome him, and in spite of his very busy schedule, I'm so happy that he could come here in person for this inauguration of the seminar. Dr. Bharat Gupt, a former associate professor in English at the University of Delhi, is with us here today. I welcome him, and it's indeed a privilege that he has been able to come here. He has already had sessions of lectures with the students of dance for the past 3 days, and we are very, very happy that he could come here to deliver the keynote address. I welcome him. We have to note that Dr. Bharat Gupt is good in 4 languages: English, Hindi, Sanskrit, and Greek. And he's also the trustee and executive member at the Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, which is part of the Ministry of Culture, Government of India. I welcome all the scholars and artists who are presenting papers and participating in discussions in the seminar. And I extend a warm welcome to the senior gurus, the alumni, the staff and students of Kalakshetra, and all the scholars who have come here to attend this conference. Kala Samprekshana, the art of seeing art, will focus on harmony through art. Harmony is peaceful existence. Art is an embodiment of a vision, idea, and future. Art fosters understanding, develops empathy, and expresses feelings. Art and culture can resolve conflicts and spread peace. Peace is an aspect that is necessary for everyone and everywhere in the world. All the Indian art forms have an inner vision and are replete with knowledge. The Indian culture and civilization does not conform to any particular period, but it is something that has eternal relevance. Art and culture in India is an inner travel into one's own self. It is an expression of simple things of beauty through introspection with the inner spirit, the creative spirit that makes art in India beautiful, valuable, eternal, and that which proclaims peace and harmony within one's own self and thereby with the world. Art has great impact in the society. It is not merely a technique, something that we see and hear. It is a force by which our emotions can be lifted. An artist can elevate the entire nation and thus contribute to the country as a whole. In fact, it is not only the performer who is an artist, but those who sit in the audience also get transformed into an artist. Thus, the responsibility of an artist is very huge, for by his art, one artist can help civilization. He can change the character, and he can also make or mar a country. Such is the power of art and artists in molding the country by spreading peace and harmony. In India, art focuses the mind and not the external element or environment. The performer thus achieves manojaya, mastery of the mind. This enables the creation of harmony of the individual with the collective. The artist thereby achieves lokajaya, or mastery over the world. The highest education is that which does not merely gives us information, but that which makes life in harmony with all existence, is what Rabindranath Tagore has said. Art, we thus see, is the highest form of education. The artist works for the upliftment and emancipation of not only the self, but also everyone around. Art can claim to be the result of harmony in life. The art in India has a philosophy. It nurtures the Jiva Jagat Sambandha, which signifies that the individual has to be in harmony with the total. The practices followed, be it mental, verbal, or physical, are only a means to an end, which is to maintain this relationship of the Jiva, individual, Jagat, universe, and Ishvara, divine. Our ancestors provided an atmosphere by their very way of living, thoughts and value systems, which have to be preserved and passed to the future generation. Through art, we can produce that atmosphere of beauty. I quote Srimati Rukmani Devi, our founder. India is specially rich, for there is no part of a country where there is no art. And it is amazing to discover that the so-called ignorant people have a much better instinctive understanding of art, a much purer understanding than those that are educated. But what is unconscious has to become conscious, she has said. Kala Samprekshana this year will focus on the connect between the individual and the whole, which is the underlying philosophy of the culture in our country, so as to emphasize to the future generation the importance of cultural unity to attain universal harmony. The essence of art is to make one understand the principle of oneness with all. Spirituality and cultural power play an essential role in connecting Indians in a bond of oneness. We have a set of programs which has been specially curated so that we can gain a lot from these 4 days of morning sessions of the seminar. Of course, we will be having the inaugural address by Shri Ramadorai sir. It will be followed by the keynote address by Dr. Bharat Gupt. And we will be having Nada, the individual and universal connect, by Srimati Vishaka Hari. And then there will be a session in which Dr. Vaijayanti Mala Bhali, the legendary artist, who is really a source of inspiration to many. She was going to be presenting something today, this afternoon, and she's going to be performing here. And it is something which all of you have to behold, the younger generation especially. Improvisation. Tomorrow we have sessions on rhythm, improvisations in the technique of chenda playing by Mattanur Sri Shankaran Kutti, Dhwani, imagination versus imitation by Dr. K.G. Paulos, and we have establishment of Natya through inner harmony, which will be done by Sri Mavin Koo. On the 24th, we have the harmony in the facial expression of the Chola murals being presented by Sri P.S. Sri Raman, the role of government institutions of art in promoting culture by Sri Anish Rajan, Director, Ministry of Culture, and fine arts in education by Srimati Ramadorai, and we have Madhura Bhakti, to be one with divine, by Sri Hari Padman. We also will have a small session of presentation by Amrita Siri, who scored the maximum marks in the project submission last year. And then we have, on the final day, a unique experience of 4 great stalwarts in dance field, Swatmanubhava, the inner experience, what they got and how they could portray it to the audience. So this is by Srimati Chitra Visweshwaran, Guru Dr. Padma Subramaniam, Guru Professor Sudharani Raghupati, and Guru Lakshmi Vishwanathan will be doing a small speech and a demonstration on the 25th. So We thank one and all of you for being here and hope you will be here and welcome you all to these sessions of Kala Samprekshana. Thank you. Namaskaram.
Thank you, Akka, for so comprehensively pointing out the responsibilities of an artist, which enables harmony within oneself and thereby in the world. Thank you very much. Our chairman, Shri S. Ramadorai, will now give us the inaugural address. A few words about him. Mr. S. Ramadorai was in public service from February 2011 to October 2016. During his tenure as a chairman of the National Skill Development Agency and the National Skill Development Corporation, his approach was to enhance skilling by ensuring quality and standards of outcomes through leveraging technology and creating an inclusive environment to cooperate, collaborate, and coexist. He strongly believes that empowering the youth with the right skills can define the future of the country. Shri Ramadorai is currently chairman of the advisory board at Tata Strive, the Tata Group's CSR skill development initiative that aims to address the pressing national need of skilling youth for employment, entrepreneurship, and community enterprise. He is also the president of the governing board of Sahapedia, a web-based open resource on the arts, cultures, and histories of India. In recognition of his commitment and dedication to the IT industry, Shri Ramadorai was awarded the Padma Bhushan, India's third highest civilian honor. In April 2009, he was awarded the CBE, the Commander of the Order of the British Empire, by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for his contribution to the Indo-British economic relations. In 2016, he was awarded the Economic Times Lifetime Achievement Award for his glorious contribution to Tata Consultancy Services. We are indeed honored to have such an illustrious and inspiring leader in our midst today. May I request our director, Srimati Revathi Ramachandran, to felicitate our chairman. Sir, may I request you to deliver the inaugural address.
Namaskaram. Dr. Bharat Gupt, Trustee and Executive Member, Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts. Srimati Revathi Ramachandran, Director, Kalakshetra Foundation. Distinguished members of the board and the academic committee members, senior gurus and mentors of the Kalakshetra Foundation, members of the dance fraternity, the connoisseurs of art, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning. The Kalakshetra Foundation's educational experience is a hallmark of excellence, marked by several unique approaches of pedagogy, and Kala Samprekshana is a fine addition to this tradition. Being a first of its kind, elaborate attempt to guide students and Rasikas to dig deeper around and within to engage with many tangible and intangible aspects that are a part of the world, this initiative has the potential to help the students enhance their art and find the true meaning of their pursuit of the art forms. It's said that a true artist is not one who seeks audiences, but one whom the audiences seek out and celebrate. The highest form of bonding between the artist and the audience goes far beyond the realm of visual or sensory into essentially the space of emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. The relevance of dance in our cultural history is vindicated through the numerous sculptural evidence found in our temples, monuments, and the archaeological sites. According to a few practitioners, dance is the only art form to exist both in time and space, as every moment marks the creation of one pose, one gesture, one expression, and the destruction of another. Throughout history, we have used dance for a spiritual connection with the Almighty, and mythology affirms that our gods embraced dance as a form of expression. As a hermit, Lord Shiva usually dances alone, in serene isolation, his eyes shut, blissfully unaware of anyone watching him. He dances for himself to express his inner emotions of peace, joy, and sorrow. This is not dance for fun or entertainment. It's an expression of an inner state to communicate wisdom. If Shiva is Nataraj, then Krishna is Natvar. He dances too, but dances with eyes open, spreading joy around him. Krishna or Vishnu dances with the objective to bind people together or even to defeat an enemy. Thus, dance has different manifestations even in our scriptures, and in every manifestation there is a greater purpose that transcends the confines of the self. It may sometimes feel that the art in itself cannot really change anything, but what we must remember at all times is that the changes caused by art cannot be perceived through our eyes. Art has the power to shape our ethical landscapes. It prepares a ground of positivity for infinite possibilities. It diminishes inequalities and offers more equitable ways of living. It is experienced that good art, be it a painting or a poem, a song, a sculpture, or a dance performance, makes our ordinary lives feel more fulfilling, casts a spell of enchantment on the moment, transporting us both away from and deeper into the common plane of living, unlatching some new dimension of consciousness. One must realize that it's not only the beauty of the creative genius alone that appeals to legions of strangers towards a greater work of art. When legions of fans follow a great musician, or of readers read a greater writer's work, or legions of admirers appreciate a great artist, there is more than appreciation that is at work. It's usually the art helping the people connect with some alienated part of themselves, mirroring and magnifying and clarifying their own experience of life. All art is therefore a form of service, and if we serve, we last. And this is the very existence why great art and great artists leave behind a lasting impression on the society and is celebrated through generations. It is these thoughts and values that every artist must strive to preserve and nurture through their learning and teaching of the art form. I would urge and request every student present here today to deeply think about the greater purpose of their art, to explore it, experiment, and create something that stands the test of time. The Kalakshetra Foundation stands testimony to numerous timeless creations, and it provides all the tools that are integral to the creation, nurturing, and development of more timeless art. Lastly, I would like to mention about this year's theme of Kala Samprekshana, which the director very eloquently articulated, which is harmony through art. India's global representation is rooted in the idea of unity in diversity. The thread that connects our different classical dance and art forms is essentially the essence of unity, harmony, collaboration, synchrony, and peace, which we must showcase to the world to establish a more enriched, diverse, and compelling story about our spiritual and peace-seeking roots. This year, through Amritam Gamaya, the International Festival of Performing Arts that was conducted across cities as part of the celebrations of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to commemorate the 75 years of independence, we could help recreate awareness of the connection between the varied forms of dance and music prevalent through the length and breadth of India, and traced the parallels between certain Indian and international art forms. I hope we make more progress in bringing a cultural unity both nationally and globally through similar such initiatives. Let me close by quoting the great Thiruvalluvar. There is no greater wealth than virtue, no greater loss than to forget it. So let your dance and your art be the guiding light in discovering the path of virtues. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your motivational and inspiring speech. Dr. Bharat Gupt will now give us a keynote address. Few words about him. Dr. Bharat Gupt is a renowned Indian classicist, theatre theorist, sitar and sur bahar player, musicologist, and newspaper columnist. He is also a retired professor in English who taught at the College of Vocational Studies at the University of Delhi. Much of his writing is devoted to classical Indian and classical Greek drama, comparing the similarities and the differences and exploring the possibilities of common Indo-European origins, and also a visiting faculty at the National School of Drama, Delhi. He has also studied ancient Indian musicological texts and modern Indian music, Yoga Sutras, and classics under Acharya K.C. Brihaspati and Swami Kripavanda. Trained both in modern European and traditional Indian educational systems, he has worked in classical studies, theatre, music, culture, and media studies, and researched as senior fellow of the Onassis Foundation in Greece on the revival of ancient Greek theatre. Very pleased to have such a scholarly and knowledgeable person in our midst today. May I request our chairman, Shri S. Ramadorai, to felicitate Dr. Bharat Gupt. I request Dr. Bharat Gupt to give the keynote address for Kala Samprekshana 2022, Harmony with Art.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Yam Shaiva Samupasate Shiva iti Brahmeti Vedantino Bauddha Buddha iti Pramana Patavaha Karate Naiyayikaha Arahan Nityatha Jaina Shasana Rato Arhan Nityat Jaina Shasana Rato Karameti Mimamsaka Soyam Yo Vidadhat Vanchita Phalam Trailokyanato Hari. Let the Trailokyanath, the Lord of three universes, grant you all your legitimate desires. He is the Lord of the three worlds, Hari, but He is also Buddha, He is also Shiva, He is also Yajna, He is also Arhat, He is also the Karta of the Naiyayika. It is He and He alone who takes all these diverse shapes and manifestations. So I thought of reminding myself of the theme by quoting this 11th century verse written as Mangala Charana to a play called Mahanataka. In 11th century this was written. And the message, which is the ancient message of this land of ours, the message that truth is one, truth is abiding, and truth is triumphant. Satyameva jayate nanmitam. To come to Kalakshetra is to come to a Vidya Tirtha. Tirthas are many in our land. This country has always been full of tirthas, from most ancient times to the present day. And there are all kinds of tirthas. But the tirthas that keep all other tirthas alive are the Vidya Tirthas. Because Vidya Gurunam Guru. Vidya is the teacher of all teachers. And so if Vidya is the sadhana in a place, then that is the Vidya Tirtha. About 11 years ago, I had an opportunity to come here and give detailed lectures on the Natya Shastra for 5 days. 5 hours every day. And they are all on the internet, on my YouTube channel, you can watch them. That was a memorable experience for me. With the blessings of my teachers, I have traveled within the country and outside the country a lot. But talking those 5 or 6 days at Kalakshetra is my most memorable experience. For the simple reason that I was talking to the practitioners. Those of us people like me, who pretend to be knowledgeable in a shastra or a system, they go and talk in front of all kinds of audience. But the true applicability of whatever we have as knowledge or information with us is only for those who practice that art. So to talk to the practitioners, to the gurus and the students of dance, of Natya, is a special privilege for a theoretician like me. And there are not very many places where you can find such people eager to listen and where you can find yourself welcome again and again, as I have been welcomed so warmly by Revathi ji this time also. So it is indeed a blessing for me. I was seeing that in the brochure there is the motto, so to speak, of Kalakshetra, Raso Vaisaha. Indeed, that is the Mahamantra of all Indian art. And it goes back to Taittiriya Upanishad, Raso Vaisaha Yam Labdha Anandi Bhavati. But that is the final stage. That is the final stage, not of art, but the stage to which art brings us. Because Rasova is Saha. Saha is Brahma, and Brahma Gyan. Art pushes us towards it. And this vision, then art is a door to the divine. This vision that art is a dehari dwara, that it is like the threshold, which lightens whatever is outside the threshold and whatever is inside the threshold. It lights the room and it lights the door to the room. So it lights the garbhagriha, the garbha, hiranya garbha, and it lights the way. This is the Indian vision, of course, which we are never tired of saying, but it is the truth. And not only the Upanishads, the supreme words about Vedanta, but also the Dharma Shastras made it very clear. The Yajnavalkya Smriti made it very simple. Veena Vadana Tattvajño Jati Shruti Visharadaha Talajyo cha aprayasena moksha margam niyachati. That one who is adept in playing the veena, one who knows the ragas, one who knows the tal, he or she can proceed towards liberation. And in India, the idea that my art or my skill, although that skill may be as simple as making a picture, it may not be Shodash, Chatushashti Kala, 64 arts, it may not be profound arts like Vyakarana, it may not be something deep, but even the simple skill, or what is called skill. Skill is a very modern word, and it's always seen in the context of money making. But this is not what the traditional meaning is. The traditional meaning is represented by the word like kala. It is represented by, let us say, the profound Greek word techni, which means that there is kali techni, the beautiful skill for arts, fine arts, and for everyday practice, but both are same because both are sacred. So, even an ordinary craftsman has been, times are changing unfortunately, but I can recall in my childhood, even the most humble carpenter or pitcher maker was proud of his skill and thought that this skill, if it is practiced with honesty, with faith, will lead him to a higher state of being. So, art is something which transforms life. This is the fundamental belief. And art is something which has a higher end. Unfortunately, in the last 50 years or so, and under the impact of so many theories about art, about ethnography, ethnomusicology, about the purpose of skills, most of these theories, which actually have a European or American origin, our faith in this traditional belief has been shaken. So when I saw that Revathi ji has put the theme here, harmony through art, I said, yes, she is going against the current. Because what is the current? The current is, how can I get social justice through art? People are employing art to promote the idea of social justice, gender equality. That's the hot cake, gender equality. And multiculturalism. Multiculturalism, is an ethnographic division of the population of a country in terms of religion. That so many people follow this religion, so accommodate them for this reason, accommodate others for that reason, try to balance between the two. This is multiculturalism, as has been practiced since 1950 and is enshrined in the Constitution. So, all this is being forced upon art. And as you who practice art, who actually live art, and anybody who practices art in any part of the world, from any faith, from any religion, would know this, because her or his heart would be the witness of it, that art does not need any clutches. Art does not need to serve something else, because art has the transforming quality for the one who is practicing that art. And this is something which has been known to the teachers and the gurus of our land. And everybody practiced it in the same way. I learned sitar from Pandit Uma Shankar Mishra. He practiced it this way. I learned Rudra Been from Ustad Asad Ali Khan. He practiced it exactly the same way. Because there is only one way that you can cultivate or do sadhana of art, to reach a higher aim. So, when we come to harmony, we must understand that the harmony which art brings is of a higher kind. It is not the harmony of social justice. It is not the harmony of providing economic relief at various levels. Because that is like using the wrong instrument for a particular equipment. You need a fine needle if you want to do embroidery. A fine needle is needed. And you can only do embroidery with it. And you need a spade in order to dig earth. So very often, what happens is that the state, the Rajya, or certain influential people in the world, and influential people in the world today are beyond state now. Corporations like Google, big influential people who can even make and unmake a president of United States. So, such organizations would like to use art for their own purposes. This is happening. This is the age of cheating, making fools of others. And this is done unashamedly, 24/7 on the television today. It is an art. It is called the art of advertising. It is a reality in which we are living. And certain medias which were very powerful, helpful in improving our lives have been captured by it. Till 1955 or so, Indian cinema did immense service to our nation. They made excellent films, great films, beautiful films. And I've seen some of them like Mughal-e-Azam 10 times, or maybe 20 times. But then you see the purpose changes. The purpose becomes to collect more money, or on television to collect more TRP. And the whole system of art is now used for that purpose. Art cannot survive this way. Our ancestors knew this very well. In the Natya Shastra, there is a story that when some of the actors, great actors, Mahanatas, when they played great satirical plays, prahasanas, then they made fun of the sages. They made fun of the learned people who were really learned. Of course, the Indian tradition allowed prahasanas to make fun of teachers who don't teach and students who don't study. That was the purpose of prahasanas. But it did not allow them to insult the knowledgeable, the alim, the vidyavan. It did not allow them. They did it, and hence they were cursed that you will lose your art. Unfortunately, we are living in a world which is not too far from that. We are not protecting our art. I'm not talking of people smuggling out art, great works of art, statues are being chiseled out from temple walls and shipped to some of the art sellers in America and in England, especially Sotheby and others. And I know this because sometimes at IGNCA we receive requests that you have a documentation of such and such temple with such and such statue. Now it is being sold there, so please provide us so that we can inform the police. Now, I'm not talking just of this kind of theft. I'm talking of something much more serious. And what am I trying to take you to? And what am I trying to bring you to? It is about not just using art for a very specific purpose like making money or propaganda. Art is also used for seizing power, for success in elections, for making plays and stories, for creating false heroes. As an artist, you must understand this, because some of these people will like to employ you at a point and say that this is what is to be done. So you must understand that. But there is another very big assault on the art of India, or the vision of art of India. And this is by people who intrinsically think that the arts of India have a misplaced theory. Some of them think that this whole business of raso vaisaha or rasa is nothing but a false pill. That you are asked to do dance and create rasa and get lost in the world of rasa. and therefore immediate concerns like social concerns about which I talked about, gender equality, this and that, are lost. That is one section of people. The other section of people is who feel that art is something which must again not be about beauty, beauty of the world, beauty of the material things, beauty of men and women in particular. There is a strange, well, not strange, it has been there for a very long time, but there is a kind of Puritanism which says that beauty is something that threatens and that it must be covered, that it should not freely come out, because they believe that creation is lower than the creator. This is something very important that you have to understand. For all those who believe that creation or people or world or this material world is lower than a higher ideal, whether it is a political ideal or a social ideal or ideal of a utopia of a kind or a religious ideal, that this world is something which is to be manipulated, and that this world itself, the world itself, is not divine. Something you must understand. They say it is material. What is divine is what was given to us by divine sources. A book or a prophet. That is something which is to be obeyed only. And that is what can manipulate the world. So manipulation of the world and degradation of creation is unacceptable in the Indian tradition. In the whole of Indian system of all the Indian philosophies, I mean, leave aside Charavaks and others who believe that there is nothing beyond the material world. But in all philosophies, everything material is also divine. The creator is not separate from creation. जो जगत बनाता है वो जगत बनता भी है. One who creates this world also becomes the world and is not separate from the world. They are the two sides of the same coin. And as has been put in so many Mahavakyas, Sarvam Idam Khalu Brahma. How can it be Sarvam Idam Khalu Brahma if the material world is not Brahma? If it is lower, if it can be manipulated, if a man can manipulate a woman, if a man of a higher status can manipulate men and women of smaller status, then there can be no Sarvam Idam Khalu Brahma. So this vision of, call it equality if you like, but it is not the equality of Rousseau and Western definitions, but this samata, samatva, harmony, ekatva, atma, this is something which looks upon everything as divine, and therefore it is the divine that becomes the world. The divine becomes the world, the divine is born in the world. So So the Ishvara that has made the Jagat is born in the Jagat, and that is the phenomena of what is called avatara or incarnation. You see, most people look upon this philosophy as a religious philosophy, not as a philosophic tenet, not as a deep philosophic system. I will ask you here a small question. If you look at the history of the world, I think I have about 20 minutes more, something like that, If you look at the history of the world, what are the two cultures that have produced maximum art? Tell me two civilizations or cultures or nations, use whatever word you like, or part of the world. Yes, ma'am? Huh? India and? India has Egypt. Well, Egypt produced many things in size, but not in tremendous variety, and not for, of course, for a long time, but not so much. The only other country which produced immense art, and in a very short period of its life, because it got wiped out by Christianity, is Greece. India and Greece are the only two cultures that produce these great art. And India produced, of course, 100 times more in quantity. Well, justifiably so, because India is 200 times bigger than Greece and all that. But why? Have you ever thought of it deeply, why this has happened? What was the reason? Because both these civilizations, they believed in incarnation. Incarnation is Latin, incarnate. Carnation is taking the body. It's a translation of the Greek word and sarkosis. Sarkosis is flesh, becoming flesh. So these are the two cultures that believe that God becomes flesh. God not only acquires a shape or a vigraha or an idol, something to be worshipped. No, God becomes flesh. And God lives. So in the Greek world, the gods came. They cohabited with human women. They produced heroes. Those heroes had a life. They did great acts. And then they went and became stars. The whole idea is the same. The idea of taking a body and sarcosis. Incarnation. The Christians took this idea from the Greeks, but they stopped short of it. They said only one incarnation, one and only Son. God Himself doesn't come down, but only sends a Son. And the Son has no sister, etc., etc. So they partly borrowed the idea, just a little bit. But whole Christianity is based upon incarnation. Islam didn't find that acceptable, so it went back to the Jewish tradition. Now, it is only when you become flesh that when you have the idea of becoming the material, of becoming flesh, of becoming shape, that you have art. What do you do in Bharatanatyam? You act a nayak or a naika. You become a naika. You become a Nayak, you become Krishna, you become Radha, you become Lalita, you become Gopi. And then you are no longer that student of Kalakshetra coming to learn from where Tindivanam or Banaras or whatever. You are at that moment that character. And that character has become flesh and blood in you. The bhava, the reality, the truth of that patra, that character has come into you and pervaded you. Natyashastra says that just as dry wood burns thoroughly, not a little speck of the wood is left, but the whole thing burns. Similarly, the bhava enters the abhineta, the actor, the actresses, the natta, the nati. It is becoming that idea or that bhava. Idea is an incomplete word. This is art. This is dance. Dance is something which illustrates the phenomena of art more than any other form of art. Because dance is natya. And this morning, Shri Ramadorai talked about Shiva. So Shiva is dancing by remembering Maya pidam smritam nrittam sandhya kale tunityataha. So he remembers the eternal power of Nritya, which is older than Shiva himself. And when he remembers, when it enters him, then he becomes dance. And those who appreciate this philosophy, like W.B. Yeats, the Irish philosopher who persuaded the judges to give the Nobel to Rabindranath Tagore, he says so. There is no difference between the dancer and the dance. The dancer has become the dance. Now, this complete fusion of what is created and who is the creator is art. And this cannot happen unless you believe in ensarkosis, incarnation, avatar. That is why there is nothing but depicting the Leela of avatars in Indian art. Whether it is painting, whether it is dance, whether it is Rama Avatara, Krishna Avatara, Devi Avatara, Shiva Avatara, it is divine coming down. And this descent of the divine, descent of the supernatural is the most recent great philosophical system developed in India, that by Shri Aurobindo. What else is the idea of Shri Aurobindo? Shri Aurobindo does not talk of going into Nirbij Samadhi only, the Kundalini rising and the sadhika or the sadhak going into Nirbij Samadhi and seeing the Brahma. No, he also talks about the descent of the supramental being to transform man. And the mother initiated the town of Auroville with the idea that this would be a place where someday the supramental being shall emerge. So it is transformation of the material by the divine. Transformation of that which is ordinary. that which is earthly, that which is mine. That may be my child, my husband, my son, my father, my boss, my whatever. That is something which comes to the point of divine. And that is something which transforms human relationships also. So, when you see the child as child, and yet the child is Brahma. Jagatodharana. You know what that means? Jagatodharana. Adisitala Yasoda. The Brahma is playing in the lap of Yashoda. The divine has become the material that I can know, that I am myself, that I am related to, that I can worship as Vatsalya Bhava. So this power, which is enshrined in a philosophic system, and then which is transformed into art, creates abiding art. And I have given you historically the example of two nations which practiced it, the Greeks and the Indians. There is no third country which was able to produce so much art. This is my explanation. And this is the reason why India produces art as if it is done compulsively. People come and destroy it once, twice, thrice, 100 times, again and again, and yet it rises, yet it is done. It is done in little villages, it is done in little huts, small places of humble people, because this is the cultural habit enshrined in a system which is followed. Once we become aware of that system, then we'll produce better, greater, and more contemporary art also. Not just traditional art. Because living in our times, we shall recreate for here and now, because we shall see the divinity before us. So this whole phenomena of bringing the divine into the material, and then that material taking shape and becoming something rare and special. This is part of the culture. That is why the temple culture is so important in India. This is why for 2000 years the temples functioned to create not only art, but vidyas and culture and economy. I'm sure, sir, as an economist, you know it better than even I can think of, that they were money circulators. And when they ceased to exist, then the economy of India collapsed. And finally, at the end of 2 decades of Nehruvian socialism, which had reinforced that whole system, we had what was called the Hindu rate of growth. Because you left the very system which was given to you to make you prosperous. Because art is something that sustains not only decorative things or higher things, but very practical, everyday things. Because it sustains all the 4 purusharthas, not just moksha, but dharma, artha, and kama. It sustains all four. As a matter of fact, most of us don't understand how sexuality was transformed through art in ancient India. You know, after studying and trying to teach or talk about Natyashas for almost 25 years, I thought that I must study and then talk about Kama Sutra also. Why? Because in the Indian system, Kama Sutra was not just those funny postures which people are very fond of and they talk about and translations are made and it is splashed. No. Kama Sutra talks about using sexual desire at various levels. At individual level, at social level, at artistic level, and at the divine level. Kama Sutra doesn't talk of the fourth level, but it talks of the three level and the institutions. It is entirely a book of how you make your most innate and your strongest desire purposeful and beautiful. It is associated with art, therefore. It is associated with transformation of love into love of higher things, and eventually the love of divine. So Kama Sutra is the only place where the 64 arts are defined. They are not defined in Manusmriti, they are not defined in Natya Shastra or in Nritya Ratnavali. They are defined in Kama Sutra. Why? Because women should know those 64 arts. You know, these days I'm so tired of listening from Harvard to Hawaii, from Hyderabad to Hooghly, all this thing, rubbish that women were not educated in ancient India. And scholars, particularly of the Marxian kind, not just at JNU, but in many places, even other American universities, or I've been a couple of times to Oxford and others, they would always say, yes, but what is the evidence? Where is it written that women should be educated? They were not sent to Gurukula. They were never sent to Gurukula. I said, yes, they were not sent to Gurukula, because ancient Indians didn't want to make the mistake that you are making. So somebody asked me, what is the mistake that we are making? I said, you are making the mistake that white women are not reproducing now. And very soon, the number of white people will eventually disappear in Europe. In England, you are less than the colored population already. So women had to reproduce, and therefore they were married soon so that they could reproduce. As simple as that. But they continued to be educated. That is, they continued to be educated at husband's home or when they got married. And please read this in the Kama Sutra. This is the line. I don't remember it, otherwise I would have given you the quote. And then their education consists of 64 kinds of arts. And these arts are not just, making rangoli, or they are very complicated arts, like Vyakarana, like Natya, like dance. You think dance is simple like making a rangoli? I don't have to ask this question in Kalakshetra. It's one of the most intricate systems of achieving something. It requires healthy mind, healthy body, dedication, whatnot. And not just dance. 64 colors included learning languages, speaking far-off languages, Milicha Vikalpitam, etc. Of course, every woman was not lucky enough to be educated. She is not lucky enough to be educated even in modern democracy. There is a huge rate of fallout from American universities in first year also. So that's not the point. But women were educated. And there was the idea, not just the ideal, but the practice and how it is to be done. They were given education in 1, 2 of these 64 arts. So it is again arts, kala, chatushashti kala, that made them people, persons who were able to make the grihastha beautiful. In last 30 years, all that I hear is career woman. Career. And nobody talks of career in arts. Of course, there are some mad women who do it, and I'm glad that there are some. So there are women who become actresses and painters and all that. But the ideal of the liberated woman is the one who makes a career and leaves an executive like Shri Ramadorai behind. No? That's the ideal of gender freedom. Is it a healthy ideal? Is it a healthy ideal for anybody, man or woman, that you progress without art? And I see today, 2 minutes more, I see today so many MBAs. You know, I was an English teacher. So I used to get a salary which language teachers will get, Hindi, English, Marathi, whatever. And then came a whole new tribe in the universities of those who were teaching business administration and business schools. And I could see that business schools were hot and private schools were charging massive fees. And the Indian boys and girls also, but boys wanted to go abroad and pay massive fees and work their back off for next 10 years to repay the loan they had taken. So I asked a couple MBA teachers, what do you teach and how do you teach? I can understand that if somebody is going to a laboratory in which you have a nuclear cyclotron or some such very massive, expensive instrument, then you need money. But you teach on the blackboard like I do. You just speak for the same time. And you get this salary which is 10 times more than mine. So what is so special? So somebody who was honest, he said, this is all a fraud. We have just created a hype. Then I asked them, what do you teach? So I tried to read some of their books. And what I learned was, they teach how to be unscrupulous, how to cheat your workers, how to pay them as less as possible, and how to bring down a competitor in the market. This is something which is the hard, cold fact. What can save you from it? If you have done some art, If you have done something which can be called whether painting or recitation or whatever, if you have done an artistic pursuit, then you will know that what is prized in society today in the world of competition is not something that brings happiness. It may be enshrined as the pursuit of happiness in the American Constitution, but it does not. What brings long-time happiness, abiding happiness, is something else. And that is yogaha kalasu kaushalam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bharat Gupt, for giving us such an in-depth essence of harmony through art. With your articulate keynote address, quoting from Indian and Greek civilizations, thereby giving us an overview from the Vedas to the Prahasanas and the current social standing of art, which made it very interesting and I'm sure thought-provoking to one and all of us. With this, we conclude the morning session, the inaugural session of Kala Samprekshana. Request the dignitaries to please take your seat in the audience before we start the first session of the seminar. With Nada, the Individual and Universal Connect by Srimati Vishakha Hari. More about Srimati Vishakha Hari. Kalaimamani Srimati Vishakha Hari is a practitioner of the ancient art form Harikatha or Katha Kirtanam. She weaves beautiful stories of value and wisdom interspersed with mellifluous songs of great composers. Her themes are generally from Ramayana and Srimad Bhagavata Puranam. She presents Harikathas in Tamil and English, and the songs are from various languages including Telugu, Kannada, Marathi, Hindi, and Sanskrit. She was initiated into music when she was 5 due to the passion of her parents who are devoted to Indian art and culture. After her marriage with Sri Hariji, she was initiated into Harikatha by her guru and father-in-law, Sri Krishna Premi Swami, a Vidwan in Shastras. Her gurus are Sri Lalgudi Ji Jayaraman, the great violin maestro for music, and Sri Krishna Premi Swamigal and Sri R. Hariji for Katha. She has been awarded many titles and has raised funds through her programs for several causes. She is an academician too, having secured the 3rd rank in the CA final examination and All India first in direct taxes. At present, she guides children and youngsters to look up to the Indian culture and arts, for which she has been honored as Distinguished Professor of Oriental Studies and Arts. She and her husband toured across the globe to spread Indian values and universal peace. She is a founder of Vijayashri School of Harikatha, a pathashala to promote the art of Harikatha as well as a medium to promote our cultures, values, and dharma. Presenting to you, Nada, the Individual and Universal Connect by Srimati Vishakha Hari. This morning, she will be accompanied by Shri S. Arjun Ganesh on the Mridangam and Shri Anantakrishnan on the violin. Over to Srimati Vishakha Hari for more on the subject.
உலகுக்கெல்லாம் உலகு உமேஷா உலகுக்கெல்லாம் மூலமந்திரத்தை 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 முற்றும் தம்மையே தம்மையே தமர்க்கு நல்கும் தனிப்பெரும் பதத்தை தானே தம்மையே தமர்க்கு நல்கும் தம்மையே தமர்க்கு நல்கும் தனிப்பெரும் பதத்தை தானே உம்மைஷால் உலகுக்கெல்லாம் மூலமந்திரத்தை மூலமந்திரத்தை உம்மைஷால் உலகுக்கெல்லாம் உம்மைஷால் உலகுக்கெல்லாம் மூலமந்திரத்தை தம்மையே தமர்க்கு நல்கும் தமர்க்கு நல்கும் தனிப்பெரும் பதத்தை இம்மய எழுமை நோய்க்கும் எழுமை நோய்க்கும் மருந்தினை ராமன் என்னும் ராமன் என்னும் ராமன் என்னும் செம்மை சேர் நாமம் தன்னையே நாமம் தன்னையே கண்களில் தெரிய கண்டான் கண்களில் தெரிய கண்டான் சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர சோபில் சப்தஸ் சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர பஜிம்பவே மனச சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர சுந்தருல பஜிம்பவே மனச சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர சுந்தருல பஜிம்பவே மனச சோபில் சப்தஸ்வர nabi dulala ento nabi dulala ento panitani bamagani bamagare zani tata maga mama niba sada panitani bamagani bamagare zani tata maga bamani sani zaga babani bazani baba ma pata bamagare zata magare tai mama zaga mabani zani bama magare zadani bamani magare bamani magare zadani bamagare ni zaga mabani zani bani zani zaga zabani zani bani nagare magare bamani bazani bamani zaga mabani shaviru zaga swara sulla bashi ubave manasa shaviru sapta swara Nada, the individual and universal connect, is the topic for today's session 1, the first part. A very beautiful and insightful topic. In fact, it is like an examination for me. Very beautiful topic, a very deep topic indeed. Just now we heard the beautiful inaugural speech where the chief guest addressed all of us and said, art is something where the dance and the dancer becomes one. Continuing on the same lines, Nada, the individual and universal connect. I think I would like to start from where our chief guest left, where the musician and the music becomes one, where there is no difference perceived. Indeed, it's a very difficult topic to deal with in a 45-minute session. But nevertheless, by God's grace and Guru's grace, we are trying to attempt it to our Yatha Shakti, Yatha Mati. So, for the sake of ease of comprehension, romba easiya puriyanona, let us classify it into 3 parts. I can see many dance students here, but the topic given to me is Nada, not Nritta. Let us try to connect it with Nritta also wherever possible. But for the sake of ease of comprehension, for dance, the base is Nada, right? You have to dance to any music. You cannot dance to silent sounds. That is the next level, the Paranada level. When you start dancing to the sounds that you hear internally in the Anahata Chakra, that's the next yogic level. So for every dancer, why does Kalakshetra need this topic? Because every dance, every dancer, every theater art form, base is Nada. For Harikatha, for Natya, for Sangeeta, for everything, the base is Nada. So for ease of comprehension, I told you we will classify it into 3 parts. Nada, what is Nada? Secondly, Nada and the individual. And finally, Nada, the individual and the universal connects. Let us classify it into 3 so that we can easily understand Nada, Nada and the individual, Nada, the individual and the universal connects. So, wherever you don't understand or wherever you refute, please feel free, because this is more like a classroom interaction where we need to experiment. We are all students. My Guru Lal Gudi sir would always say, our Guru, because Pakala Ramdas ji is also there. So our Guru would always say, I'm a senior student and you are a junior student. So you always have the right to ask me, and I'm responsible and dutiful to answer to your questions. So all of us are students in the same journey. It is just that the great Mahanubhavas, the great composers have achieved 100% or 99% or 98%, and we are just in 1% or 0.001%. So let's start with what Nada is. So, we have heard of the word Nadi, right? What is Nadi? River. Flow of water is Nadi. Nadyate iti nadaha. Anything which flows has got this connect with na and da. Flow of water is Nadi. So flow of sound is Nada. Very simple. It's not Shabda. Sound, Shabda is different from Nada. So when I say ga re za ne sa ga ma ga ma pa ni pa ma ga re za ne sa ga ma pa ni pani sa ni ni pa pa ma ma ga re za ne sa ga ma pa ni. There is a flow. So flow of sound, just like flow of water is Nadi, flow of sound is Nada. So what do you get as the definition of Nada? It is sustaining sound at a particular frequency which sustains for a particular period of time. So when I say ga, at a particular frequency, I'm producing it at a particular frequency and sustaining it for a particular period of time. Gama pa ma ga re za ne sa ga ma. So this is Nada. So now, why is it so important? Why is Nada important? We just heard this beautiful lecture where India, and probably from India there has been export of knowledge and fine arts to Greece as well. So India and Greece, that's a different beautiful concept. So he said India and Greece, two nations which have produced maximum art. The most beautiful contribution of India, I feel, to the whole world is this unique concept of Nada. Because from this concept of Nada arises all the ragas, arises all the musical instruments, arises the other different art forms. So the best concept and best contribution of our country to the whole world as the Vishwa Guru is this concept of Nada. Because this concept is where, as a yogi, we're just talking of a way, a path, a journey. So when we say this is a path, you need a source. You have a starting point. You start at a particular point and you reach a particular point. And what is the source of this Nada and what is the destination of this Nada? In our ancient Indian scriptures, it says, both are Nada Brahmam. The source and destination, both are Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Namapime Manasa Shirasaya Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Namapime Manasa Shirasaya Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Namapime Manasaya Shirasagana Tanumanisham Shankaram Namapime Manasaya Shirasaga Mutakara Nigamodama Samavedasaram Modakaraya Nigamodama Samaveda Saram varam samaveda-saram varam varam samaveda-saram varam varam samaveda-saram varam varam nada-tanu-manisham nada-tanu-manisham Shankaram. The first song was also Tyagaraja Swami's song. Mostly we are taking the references from Tyagaraja Swami's songs on Nada to explain our concept. Here Tyagaraja Swami says, this whole world consists of, there is this beautiful theory of evolution where it says, we would have heard of Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, right? Innore theory irukku. There is another beautiful theory which says this whole world was created from sound. It's created from sound. How? You would have heard of that Big Bang theory, right? Big Bang, what is that Big Bang? That itself is sound. Big Bang. You have Nataraja Swami here in Kalakshetra. We'll start with the cosmic dancer. And then only you will have this connect with, let me leave this individual and cosmic connect. Let me connect with you first. So you have this Nataraja Swami, right? He has 5 faces. Tyagaraja Swami says in this song, Sadyo Jatadi Panchavatraja. When he sounded the damru, Kaila, Uduka vechindirkarilla, he has the Uduka. When he sounded the damru, Ama. That was the sound he produced first. And what did you hear? You would have all heard. Means you would have all learnt, not heard. You would have right? And from those sounds, the rest of the universe was produced, was created. Tyagaraja Swami says, instead of Ayivonaralaka, he says, Saregama Padani Varasapta Swara Sadyo Jata Adipanchavadraja Saregama Padani Varasapta Swara Vidyalolam Vidalita Kalam Vimalakritaya Tyagaraja Palam Nada Tanu-manisham. Why 5 faces? Why the 5 faces of Shiva are mentioned here? Sadyojatadi Panchavatraja. Why should he ever mention this? Because Shiva has 5 tasks. Aindolil. Aindolil na solluvom. Srishti, Sthiti, Sammara, Anugraha, Nigraha. And Srishti is the first task. So he talks of the creation of this entire universe through the Damru, through the Uduke. And there he creates Saregama Padani. So the source is Nada Brahman. Any Jivan, any person, any human being, or anybody for that, any life for that matter, we would like to get back to where we started, right? So all of us hanker after that eternal happiness. Why? We are all born of that Ananda Swarupi. So, source is Nada Brahma. You want to get back to the destination which is Nada Brahma itself. So, Nada, the individual connecting with the universe. So, if this whole universe, consider it as a totality of cosmic vibrations. Every minute there is a cosmic vibration produced by each of us. There was a sound even before the very first struck sound was produced. That is what our Vedas say. So you cannot say Nada Tanumanisham is just a song. You cannot consider and conclude the evolution theory with Tyagaraja Swami's song. Then you can go back to the Vedas, where Vedas say Akashat Vayuhu Vayor Agnihi Agner Apaha Adbhav Prithivya. So from Akasha, from space, wind was created. And from wind, Agni, fire. From Agni, water. And from water, Prithvi. And from Prithvi, land, plants. And from the plants, you get it as food. It goes to the Purusha Sharira and then the Stri Sharira. That is the creation process. So when you get back, go back again, Akashat Vayu. So the beginning, the source is Akasha again. Nada. What is the Tanmatra, the characteristic of Akasha? Space. Characteristic of space is sound. Vayu, characteristic is sparsha. You can feel wind. Now the wind is blowing, you can feel it. Tanmatra of Agni is form. You can see the form. Of water is taste. Of Prithvi is smell, gandha. So the 5 sense organs, you hear and you see and you taste and you dance, you touch, you do everything, right? All the base is the Panchabhutas. And for the Panchabhutas, the first of it is Akasha. And that is why you have Chitsabesha, Nataraja here. He shows that Chitta is Ambara, Chidambara. What does Chidambara, which Kshetra does it signify? Akasha Kshetra. So it all goes to the same theory. So it all goes to the same theory of Nada Tanumanisham. The whole universe is the Nada Swarupi. The whole universe is Shiva. So if you want to reach him, what do? You choose this easiest path of Nada Upasana. That is called Nada Upasana. Why? Because you have many upasanas, you have many margas. You can do tapas, you can do dhyana, you can do... the chief guest was talking of Chatushshashti Kala, 64 art forms. But the most beautiful, easiest, Sulabha, the very, very easy divine connect is Brahmananda Mandave Manasa Nada Lolude Nada Lolude Nada Lolude Nada Lolude Brahmananda Mandave Manasa Nada Lolude Brahmananda Mandave Manasa Nada Brahmananda Mandave Manasa Nada Lolude Brahmananda Mandave Manasa Nada Gamani da Pama Gama Garizana the Lord Noti Gamadani da Pama Garizana the Lord Noti Gama Garizani Nizani Rava Gama Garizani Rava Magarizani Dova Madani Zana the Lord So the individual can get Brahmananda through Nada Loludai. That is why I have been given this topic. Nada, individual connecting with the universe. How at all can there be a connection? I just told you how this evolution theory of this whole world consisting of sound vibrations. So whole world, you have a connect already. In fact, theories say every being, everything, all matter, all prakriti, all material things, everything, every psyche, it's all a totality of cosmic vibrations. So you can immediately connect. But the point is, so we have seen the definition of nada and then going to the individual and nada aspect right now. So when you produce, where do you produce from? You produce from different parts of your body. Nabhi hritkanta rasana sadulala. You produce from the navel. Nabhi hrit. Some notes, it's from the nabhi. Sa pa nabhi. In Jagan Mohini itself, in Shovillu Saptaswara itself, you can take sa ga ma pa ni sa. 5 notes, right? Sa ga ma pa ni sa. In the Avarohana, you get sa ni pa ma ga ri sa. Sa nabhi. Ga. The note comes up. Hrit. Ma kanta. Pa rasana. Ni nasa. So very, very beautifully Tyagaraja Swami, a genius Tyagaraja Swami is. So sa ga ma pa ni is nasa. Nabhi grit kanta rasana. Nabhi grit kanta rasana nasadula. The 5 beautiful producing organs are the 5 swaras he is depicting. So he is symbolically referring to it. All these saptaswaras can cause beauty to the highest, maximum possible extent. That is why they can make this entire universe revel. Jagan Mohini. Which is Jagan Mohini? This raga's name is called Jagan Mohini. Why? Saptaswaras can make the Jagata totally get infatuated. Saptaswaras, Shovillu Saptaswara. Saptaswaras are Jagan Mohinis. You don't need a Ramba or a Urvashi to be a Jagan Mohini. Sagamapani, these are Jagan Mohinis. That is Tyagaraja Swami's brilliance. So here he says, these Saptaswaras revel. So from where do you get it? You produce it as an individual. This is through the Pinda. அண்டத்தில் எங்கேருந்து கிடைக்கும்? அண்டத்தில் if you want to extract the abstract sounds, where do you get it from? Just let the tambura shruti alone. That itself is nada, right? How can you get it? How can you extract it from the abstract cosmos? That is why Tyagaraja Swami says, it's there, don't worry. Dara riksama dulalo. It's there in Rig Veda, Sama Veda. Riksama dulalo vara Gayatri. In the Gayatri mantra, it's there. And don't stop with the ahata nada. Nada, kayatatro. When two objects strike, you hear that, right? Or when, say, the mridanga, tarikitadam, 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 tarikitadam. You can hear this. This is Vaikhari. When the hand strikes the instrument, when the bow strikes the violin, you hear it. That is Vaikhari. That is a very gross nada that we are producing. Even in the vocal cords, there are two cords. That is why the two cords have to strike each other to produce sound. So, two objects to produce it. That is Vaikhari, the gross level. You can hear it, so it's called Ahatanada. Based on where you produce it, adu vande sharirathilenda na produce. If I am singing it, it is Shariraja. If it is from a mridangam instrument, it is Charmaja. If it is from a metal instrument, it is Lohaja. Then if it is from a wind instrument, it is Vayuja. But the nada does not stop at this level. You have to go to the next level. That is the universal connect, where it starts. No? Nada and the individual is over now. The third part, nada, the individual and the universe. That is through the anahata nada. Anahata nada is the final level. It's called the paranada. Some sounds you hear with your ear. Magarizani, you hear with your ear. You go back home or you go back to your classroom, you sit and still you hear Brahmananda Mandave, Brahmananda, Brahmananda, Brahmananda. It goes on lingering in your mind, let us say. So if it keeps lingering in your mind, you're not hearing it through your ears, but you're hearing it through your mind. It is called Madhyama. Madhyama. But after this, there is another state. There is no sound which is produced either by our instruments or the body, and nothing which is in your mind, but you can feel that inner bliss in your heart. That is what the Nada yogis research upon. That is why Tyagaraja Swami says, Vara Maunulo, Maunulo Pasinchare, Vara Maunulo Pasinchare, Vara Tyagara Judaliyona Dalo Nude. Maunulu. Maunulu means what? Munis. Munis, why do they get the name Muni? They're always in manana, mauna state. They always prefer solitude. Those who prefer silence and solitude, why should they revel in nada lolodai? Tyagaraja Swami says, Vara maunulu upasinchare. Munis, sages, revel in nada. Even our deities in Hinduism, in Sanatana Dharma, all our deities are musicians or dancers. We heard the guest beautifully speaking of incarnations and how art is produced only because of incarnations, because of Rama, because of Krishna, because of Muruga, because of Shiva. We have so many songs. Without the incarnations, where would we go for Sahitya? Where would we go for Nritya or Natya or the paintings? Nothing. It would be a big zero. So, in the incarnations, if you look at each and every Murti, Hari Haratma Bhusurapati Sharajanma Ganesha. All the incarnations are all musicians. Krishna, flutist. He plays the flute. Saraswati plays the veena. So Vainika. And Indra, Nandi, they play the mridanga. And every Hari Haratma Bhu Surapade Sharajanma Ganesha. All the deities, he gives a list. Hari Hara Atma Bhu Surapati Sharajanma Muruga Ganesha. Everybody, they all revel in Nada. Why? Even deities, they connect with the supreme truth. Those to sustain in that supreme truth, they need Nada. They're all reveling in that Nada, in that Parananda state because of Nada. So Nada is a upasana not only for people like us and muscle and flesh, for even deities who are Jyoti, Jyotirmaya, they are reveling in Nada. But why do munis, instead of going to tapas, instead of just sitting in tapas without talking, no speech, no song, nothing, no action, no karma, instead of preferring akarma, why do they prefer Nada? Because at that Paranada stage, you get bliss. That bliss, same bliss that you get in Samadhi Sthiti. Sangeeta Jnanamo Bhakti Vina. List of munis, a list of sages he gives. Even in Tamil Shastras, Kandanal Vagai Bala Mulidam Pirabadang Prabandangal. Kandanal Vagai Bala Mulida Prabandangal Tanpayara Shaid Vayu Matangar Kubade Shitanan Avananumarkum Mirun Banagum Anumarkirun Banagum Chittattamakkum Cheppinaldale Anuman Vivadigal Garuvamadanga Achalamuruga Kundaka Kriyavenu Kundaka Kriyavenu Ragam Padi Ragam Padi Ragam Padi Ragam Padi. Samira Jagadaja Matanganarada Dulu Matanganarada Dulu Asilja Sangeeta Jnanamu Bhakti Vina Sanmagamu Galade Manasa Sangeeta Jnanamu Bhakti Vina Bringi Matanga Narada Natesha. Samiraja is Hanuman. Tomorrow is Hanuman's birthday. So let us also remember him. Hanuman Jayanti is tomorrow. Hanuman, he is a great expert in Sangeeta Shastra. Matanga, you all know he is the author of Brihad Deshi. Natesha, Samiraja, Gataja, Agastya. That is why we took this Tamil padal where he says, Sangeeta Shastra, Divya Moola, Divya Prabandhangal, Gana Prabandhangal, Vayu Matangarku Upadesittanan, Avan Anumarku Upadesittanan. So why do all these people need nada? Because it gets you into the Samadhi Sthiti. That is the third part. So recapping, within the next 5 minutes, we just have 5 minutes. I was very appreciative of the chief guest. He was totally into the lecture as well as concentrating on how to finish it within the time. 5 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go. So learned a lesson from him. So 5 minutes to go. So recapping, what is nada? Flow of sound. Nadyate iti nadaha. And that flow of sound is a journey because it's a flow. It's like a wave. So it has a source, it has a destination. But the beauty in our Indian nada system is that both source and the destination are nada brahmam. Because the whole universe is consisting of a totality of cosmic vibrations. So Srishti itself started with sound, akashat vayuhu. So nada and the individual, we as an individual produce nada through our nabi, krit, kanta, rasana, nasadula. Where are we moving to? That is the third part. Nada, the individual and the cosmic connect. So because this is a way, this is a path, we travel 10%, we travel 20%. We are moving from the ahata nada to the anahata nada levels. So to the anahata nada levels, when you move, the Brahmananda increases, the Ananda, it's Sadharana Ananda, then Manushyananda, then Devananda, then the Koti Devananda, then it goes on to Gandharvananda, and then Brahmananda, no? You have levels of Ananda, and that Paranada state gives Brahmananda even to Munis, because from that primordial sound, that is why we started with Mumaisal Ulagakella Mulamantirattai. This is a verse from Kamban's Ramayana. From Kamba Ramayana, it's a padal from Kamba Ramayana. The scene is Vali Vadagatta. Vali is shot by an arrow, by a single arrow. Okamata, Okabana, of Rama. Rama goes back, he turns his back to go back to his abode. Appo, Vali, he just forcefully pulls off the arrow to see whose arrow it is. Yarod ambide. Then he sees the letters Rama imprinted. The aksharas Rama are imprinted on that bow. Mumaishalulagakella moola mantiratte mutrum tamaye tamark nalgum. That nada of Rama Nama, nada upasana. He didn't do an upasana all his life. He just said Rama Tamaye tamark nalgum. That Nama could not help Rama proceed further to his abode. He had to return to Vali. He knew that Vali was going to shout at him because he had hit him from behind for several reasons, which is not our topic for today. So he could not proceed further. He went to Vali and he looks at Vali. And then Vali looks at Rama and says, Tamaye tamark nalgum tani perum padattaitane. Oh, Priyadarshana. That is the word in Ramayana. Beloved. Imagine somebody is hit by someone's arrow. You want to take revenge, or you will call him a beloved person, such a darling person you are, you look so beautiful. Will anybody say that? Onna adichavana paathu, ayyo ivlo azhaga irkiyappa appdin yarad solluvoma? He said, Vali said, because Rama was like that. He knew at once, this is not an arrow, this is a medicine. Marindinai Ramanyannum. It is a medicine, an aushadhi for Bhavaruga, for him to connect with Rama. This is a medicine for him to connect with Rama. So through this Nama Sankirtana, Nada Sankirtana, you have so many mantropadesha, initiations, even for sannyasas, mantropadesha is given. Why is that? Because Nada is the only beautiful, most powerful tool which can transform from within. It can create that inner transformation of a dushta or a brashta into a punyatma. So that Nada has that power, and the power that dushta or brashta can become such a punyatma. Nada's power, the power of sound, that is why you have these music healing therapies, spiritual healing therapies. They give you a mantra. Why? It only has the power to transform the person from within, and then finally give you the sakshatkara of the Supreme Almighty by just final ending. Nada, the individual where the Jivan Mukta wants to get to the universal, divine, supreme truth. The Jivan Mukta status you can attain, Tyagaraja Swami says, you can have the Sakshatkara with Sadbhakti and with Sangeeta Jnana. And if you produce the right Nada with the right combination of Prananalasam Yogamu Pranava Nadamu Sabda Swaramule Paraga Veena Vadana Loludu Shiva Mano तत्त्वज्ञः श्रुते जाति विशारदः ताळज्ञश्च प्रयासेन मोक्षमार्गं नियच्छति मोक्षमार्गं Thank you so much for this beautiful topic, Srimati Revathi and Ramachandran Garu. So this is a topic where we are all students, so let us try to reach. Let us, through Nada Yoga, try to reach. Individually, let us try to connect with the Supreme Almighty through Nada Upasana and Nada Yoga. And such a beautiful atmosphere, I think Kalakshetra is the best place for this topic. There couldn't have been a better place. There couldn't have been a better place. So, finishing with this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Srimati Vishaka Hari, for your presentation. Nada, the individual and the universal connect. I think it is really interesting to note that this concept of Nada is instrumental in the entire world, not alone, it's not restricted to the world of art alone. It holds good for the entire world. And she has brought about the different aspects of Nada in a very simple but effective way through her music and her wonderful explanation. Thank you very much. If I may ask a question, Srimati, can I just ask a question?
Sure,
if you don't mind? Yeah, it is very interesting and very heartwarming to note that you told us that Nada originated in India. It's very wonderful. I'm sure everybody agrees. Can you just elaborate on that a bit?
Right in the Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram Kirtana, if you see, Samaveda Saram Varam Varam Nada Tanumanisham. So he says Samaveda is the origin for Nada. And that is why in Shobilu also there are Rik Samadula. So Veda is Anadikalama. It is there since before the struck sound. So it's called Apaurusham. Veda is called Apaurusham because no Purusha created that sound. So it's already there. So Vedas, which country will you associate Vedas with? India, right? So from Veda, from Samaveda Saram, Varam Varam, Nada Tanumanisham. So Nada originated from Samaveda and Vedas owe their existence to Bharata Desha. So Nada owes its existence to Bharata Desha. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. Would anyone like to have any questions? Any questions? I'm sure she'll help us with the answers.
You can, definitely. Yes? Students, Purunjada, did you understand? Or it was a little over the heads? No? Understood, right? Those who did not understand, hands up. So all of you have understood?
Yes.
Really? Then I'll ask you a question. Okay, very happy that all of you understood. It was my pleasure performing for you.
Thank you so much, Srimati Vishaka Hari. May I request our chairman, Shri S. Ramadorai, and our director, Srimati Revathi Ramachandran, to felicitate the artists. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Akka. The next presentation will be Sambhashana by Dr. Vaijayanti Mala Bali. Please give us a few minutes as we get the stage ready for the presentation.
Sharp கொஞ்சம் வேணும்.
After that lively and informative session on Nada by Srimati Vishakha Hari, we will now present Sambhashana by Dr. Vaijayanti Mala Bali. Dr. Vaijayanti Mala Bali's name figures prominently in the ranks of those who have heralded the renaissance of Bharatanatyam over the last 4 decades. Born in South India, she hails from a conservative family, but one distinguished scholarship and one that has patronized the traditional and classical arts of the Tanjavur style. Hers is a background rich with our cultural heritage, adhering to the strict tenets of the illustrious Tanjore Quartet under Guru Kittappa Pillai, a direct descendant of the Tanjai Nalvar. Her talent surfaced early in life when she danced before the Pope at the age of 5 and earned his benedictions. She performed before many eminent statesmen and dignitaries like the President Dr. Radhakrishnan, Prime Minister Shri Jawaharlal Nehru, Prime Minister Srimati Indira Gandhi, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, President Eichhofer, and many other international organizations. Her outstanding performances in India and abroad reflect the glory of the great art that she has proved herself to be a cultural ambassador par excellence. As she shot into fame, the celluloid world drew her into its fold. Her first film was AVM's Varkai in Tamil, followed by Bahar in Hindi. She played leading roles in a series of popular films, Nagin, Madhumati, Naya Daur, Ganga Chamuna, Sadhana, and Amrapali. For her, it was her husband, Dr. Bali, who in the best years of her career stood by her like a colossus and continues to be guiding spirit in all her endeavors. This morning, she will be accompanied on the Nattuangam by Srimati Gayatri Sashidharan, on vocal by Shri Girija Shankar, on Mridangam, Shri Guru Bharadwaj, on flute, Shri Shruti Sagar. Presenting to you Sambhashana by the legend and the doyen of Bharatanatyam, an inspiration across generations, Srimati Vajayanti Malabali.
Sri Andal, Thiruvirale Sharanam Sharanam. Namaskaram to all of you and happy Margadi. Firstly, I wish to thank Srimati Revathi Ramachandran, Director, Kalakshetra, for inviting me. I was told that this is going to be a kind of conversation, sambhashana, but I intend to add something more to it and give you a surprise. Hopefully, it should be a good surprise. I shall do Abhinaya to a couple of padams. Hope you will find that interesting. Thank you. And my musicians, of course, Srimati Gayatri, Shashidharan Natvangam, Sri Girja Shankar vocal, Sri Guru Bharadwaj Mridangam, Sri Shruti Sagar flute, and Srimati Rani Balachandar, backstage assistant. Vama, Rani. Why is she hiding? Rani? Come on, it's getting late. Thank you. Being the auspicious Margazhi month and Mother Sri Andal in her Tirupavai of 30 songs, today happens to be the 7th day, and we'll commence the program with Tirupavai prayer. Babu.
கீச்சு கீச்சென்றெங்கும் ஆணை சாத்தன் கலந்து பேசின பேச்சரவம் கேட்டில்லையோ கீச்சு கீச்சென்றெங்கும் ஆணை சாத்தன் கலந்து பேசின பேச்சரவம் கேட்டில்லையோ பேய் பெண்ணு காசும் பிறப்பும் கலகலப்பு கை பேர்த்து காசும் பிறப்பும் கலகலப்பு கை பேர்த்து வாசனரங்குழலாய் சேர்ந்ததினால் ஓசைப்படுத்த தைரரவம் கேட்டில்லையோ நாயக பெண் பிள்ளாய் நாராயணமூர்த்தி ஓசைப்படுத்த தைரரவம் கேட்டில்லையோ நாயக பெண் பிள்ளாய் நாராயணமூர்த்தி கேசவனை பாடவும் நீ கேட்டு கிடத்தியோ கேசவனை பாடவும் நீ கேட்டு கிடத்தியோ நேசமுடையாய் திரவேலோரம் பாவாய் கேசவனை பாடவும் நீ கேட்டு கிடத்தியோ நேசமுடையாய் திரவேலோரம் பாவாய்.
I will start with a padam. Yar poi solluvar in Thodi Ragam, Misra Chapatalam, composer Dhanam Krishna Iyer. Shruti. யார் போய் சொல்லுவ எனக்கான பேரையும் காணே யார் போய் சொல்லுவ எனக்கான பேரையும் காணே யார் போய் சொல்லுவ எனக்கான பேரையும் காணே
சொல்லுவேன் எனக்கான பேரையும் காணேன் யார் போய் 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 சொல்லுவேன் எனக்கான பேரையும் காணேன் அன்னமே நான் என்ன செய்வேன் யார் போய் சொல்லுவேன் எனக்கான பேரையும் காணேன் அன்னமே நான் என்ன செய்வேன் சிரோங்கிய தனிகை மாமலை தனில் வாழும் 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 செய்யமறை துதி துயனேனும் செய்யமறை துதி துயனேனும் உயர்மையனேனும் முருகை எனக்கு தைய போய் சொல்லுவேன் செய்யமறை துதி துயனேனும் உயர்மையனேனும் முருகை எனக்கு தைய போய் சொல்லுவேன் எனக்கான பேரையும் காணேன் அன்னமே நான் என்ன
மூத்த மாமியோ புல்ல பதக்கனீலியே மூத்த மாமியோ புல்ல பதக்கனீலியே மூத்த மாமியோ புல்ல பதக்கனீலியே மூத்த மாமியோ புல்ல பதக்கனீலியே முழுமனை பராங்கியும் அவரே கனுகூலியே முழுமனை பராங்கியும் அவரே கனுகூலியே நாளைக்கு நாடமும் பாலும் வேறு நாளைக்கு நாடமும் பாலும் வேறு நாளைக்கு நாடமும் பாலும் வேறு நன்யமுனி வர்த்தம் புண்ணியனேனும் பூயர் நன்யமுனி வர்த்தம் புண்ணியமேனும் உயர்கேனும் சுப்பிரமணியனுக்கு யார் போய் சொல்லுவார் நன்யமுனி வர்த்தம் புண்ணியனேனும் உயர்கேனும் சுப்பிரமணியனுக்கு யார் போய் சொல்லுவார் எனக்கான பேரையும் காணேன் அன்னமே நான் என்ன செய்வேன்
The next is a javli. Vani pondu chalu vaddane. In Kannada ragam, Rupakatalam, Dharmapuri Subrayar is composer. The Nayaki tells her Sakhi, enough, no more. I have nothing to do with him. She complains, Manmata's arrows are already torturing me, so unbearable. You know I trust you, my friend. I want you to convey my message to him. Go quickly and come back soon. But then what happened? Sakhi did go to meet him, but the moment he saw her, he rudely told her to get out of his sight. That's it. Enough is enough. Vani Pondu.
pundu saluvadane vani pundu saluvadane vani pundu saluvadane pundu saluvadane vanitamaniya vani pundu saluvadane vanitamaniya vani pundu saluvadane vanitamaniya vani pundu saluvadane vanitamaniya vani pundu saluvadane வனிதமணியலவணி புந்து சானுபதனே.
Now, I have taken this beautiful padam. The composer is Arunachala Kaviyar. Eppadi manam tunindadu. In Usaini Ragam, Misra Chaptalam. Sita is shocked to see her Rama with hair tied up in a knot, wearing the bark of a tree, Maravuri, around his waist, and carrying bow and arrows on his shoulder. When she asks him, why this look? Rama says that his father, Dasharatha, has told him to go to the forest for 14 years, and it was his duty to obey him. Then Sita asks Rama, did you not promise me when you held my hand that you will never leave me in every birth, and now is your heart made of iron that you want to go away, leaving me alone and helpless? How will Mother Earth tolerate this? Seeing Sita's tears, Rama consoles and tells Sita that he will take her along with him. And Sita follows Rama to the forest. எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி மனம் போய் வருகிறேன் என்றார் இதை ஏற்குமோ பூமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ.
மனம் துணிந்ததோ எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி வனம் போய் வருகிறேன் என்றார் இதை ஏற்குமோ பூமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி வனம் போய் வருகிறேன் என்றார் இதை ஏற்குமோ பூமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ எப்பிறப்பிலும் பிரியேன் வீடேன் என்று கை தோட்டீரே எப்பிறப்பிலும் பிரியேன் வீடேன் என்று கை தோட்டீரே எப்பிறப்பிலும் பிரியேன் வீடேன் என்று கை தோட்டீரே பிறப்பிலும் பிரியேன் வீடேன் என்று கை தோட்டீரே பிறப்பிலும் பிரியேன் வீடேன் என்று கை தோட்டீரே பிறப்பிலும் பிரியேன் வீடேன் என்று கை தோட்டீரே ஏழையான சீதையை ஏழையான சீதையை ஏழையான சீதையை நட்டாற்றில் வீட்டீரே ஏழையான சீதையை நட்டாற்றில் வீட்டீரே எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி வனம் போய் வருகிறேன் என்றால் இதை ஏற்குமோ பூமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ கரும்பு முறித்தார் போலே சொல்லலாச்சுதோ கரும்பு முறித்தார் போலே சொல்லலாச்சுதோ ஒரு காலும் பிரியேன் என்று சொன்ன சொல்லும் போச்சு கருந்து முறித்தார் போலே சொல்லலாச்சுதோரே காலும் பிரியேன் என்று சொன்ன சொல்லும் போச்சுதோ வருந்தி வருந்தி தேவரீரல் வார்த்தையால் கொல்லாமல் கொல்ல வருந்தி வருந்தி தேவரீரல் வார்த்தையால் கொல்ல இரும்பு மனது உண்டாச்சதல்லவோ என்னை விட்டு போகிறேன் என்று சொல்ல எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ வருந்தி வருந்தி தேவரீர் வார்த்தையால் கொல்லாமல் கொல்ல இரும்பு மனது உண்டாச்சதல்லவோ என்னை விட்டு போகிறேன் என்று சொல்ல எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ சுவாமி வனம் போய் வருகிறேன் என்றார் இதை ஏற்குமோ பூமி எப்படி மனம் துணிந்ததோ
Now I shall present a Sanskrita sloka from Shri Krishna Karnamritam by Leela Sukar in Ragamalikai, which describes the divine play of Krishna when he is caught in the act of stealing butter. The gopi whose house he has broken into asks him who he is and what is he doing there. Krishna tells him that he is Balarama's younger brother and he has mistaken the house for his own. But what is your hand doing in that pot of butter? Oh mother, she asks again, and he says, I was looking for my lost calf. Oh mother, don't be angry, kindly forgive me, please, please Krishna. Hearing this, how could the gopi get angry when Krishna, who won the hearts of all the gopis by his witty and quick repartees. Oh Krishna, let us seek your grace. There is a philosophical meaning to the shloka. Gopi is the spiritual aspirant Krishna, the Lord, who reveals himself, and Mandira, which is the residing place of the Lord. When he searches for his lost calf and places his hand in the butter pot, he wants to feel the child, Vatsakam, and free him from bondage. So, I shall conclude the program with the Krishna Karnamratam. Thank you so much. I hope you have not missed the Sambhashana. Instead, have been doing this. I hope you're finding it interesting. No? Please tell me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
विवरे हस्तं किमर्थं न्यसः मातः मातः कंचन वत्सकं मृगयुतं मातः कंचन वत्सकं मृगयुतं महाविषादं महाविषादं क्षणायतु क्षणायतु विषादं क्षणायतु इत्येवं वरवल्लवी वरवल्लवी प्रतिवचन जितः इत्येवं वरवल्लवी प्रतिवचन जितः श्रीकृष्णस्य श्रीकृष्णस्य पुष्णातु नः पुष्णातु नः
I don't know how to thank Akka for this wonderful presentation. I think it is something which I will go into history and this has happened here. It was beautiful, and I don't know, I don't have words at all. It was amazing.
Andalama's kindness, her benevolence, Taya's compassion, and Taya's mercy. That is what I am.
I think it was also a place will that you should be here today, ma. So that has really been with me at this. So I'm so happy, and all the students have benefited something which I don't think in your lifetime you have had an opportunity like this. So you have all really been blessed to have this presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you.
What more can I add? Saying that it was indeed a very inspiring and heartfelt performance that we witnessed today by our legend Bharatanatyam artist Srimati Vaijayanti Malabali. The Sambhashana, the conversation, either with the Naika and the Sakhi, or Krishna and Gopi, or Sita and Rama, was just wonderfully done by Akka, and we're all spellbound by that. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Request our director to felicitate Akka. I think I had a small Sambhashana with Akka, because she wanted me to ask all of you whether the program was a success and whether you all enjoyed the performance and whether it has reached the students. That's the answer to Akka. With this, we conclude this morning's session. Tomorrow in session 2, we have at 9 o'clock improvisation in technique of Chenda playing by Padmashri Mattanur Shankaran Kutti, and at 9:50 we have Dwani, imagination versus imitation by Dr. Paulos, and at 10:45 we have embellishment of Natya through inner harmony, Shri Mavin Ko. Thank you all very much for your presence today. Looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Namaskar.
To all of you for patiently watching me. Thank you so much.